Billions governor set to control in counties.
Yes, that is the big headline. But just check your car. So that when you're going home after work, you're not still seeing fog.
No, if I see fog when I'm going home, then I think it should be my car, certainly.
Yes. Right, so there's the billions in the counties, and devolution deepens roots as Senate apportions 226 billion shillings to counties, 36 billion shillings more than last year, so there's more.
Yes, Nairobi, 11 billion. The most inspiring year is see places like Turkana, Mandera, getting, those billions and those amounts.
Share,
I think that is what the devolution was supposed to be. It was supposed to get resources where it's needed the most. And we hope that, after this story is done, for 5 or so years, places like Turkana, Mandera would be different. Would use these monies to uplift, the lives of the people who are living there. So this is a fascinating story. That devolution is working. I mean, this one possibly one of the stories about devolution that is positive.
Yes.
Not governors fighting senators or MPs and senators doing random things. I think it's, Kath, I don't know what your views.
I mean, it's positive, but again, sorry to be the wet blanket, but there probably is some sort of supremacy, quote and unquote, battle looming because the National Assembly has also tabled a similar bill. So what does that mean when it comes to the budget?
Well, the understanding, I think that I think this is the county revenue allocation bill
of 2014.
It's supposed to come from the National Assembly, then it is to debate on it, deliberate on it, then send it over to the Senate, then the Senate ratifies it and whatnot, then the President signs it. Remember last time there was that issue between the Senate and the National Assembly, and the Senate originated that bill, then the National Assembly, and then the President had to sign some sort of, from the National Assembly and whatnot, create a bit of friction. But I think how the Constitution had been laid before was that the National Assembly should originate the bill. After they finish deliberating on it, send it to the Senate, who have the legal mandate of whatnot to interrogate the budgets, and put in clauses and whatnot and add a few things here, then send over to the President.
So is it to say that the Senate jumped the gun because yesterday they tabled?
Yes. No, there's been an issue here then that yesterday, I think if I follow correctly, that the National Assembly, are saying, well, you can't originate the bills yourself. You wait for the bill to be, to be forwarded to you from the National Assembly. So we're going to see how that happens. I think this is continuation of that supremacy battle last year between the Senate and the National Assembly. Remember, the President had to get in and sign the National Assembly's bill, and the Senate had to move to court. I think that matter is still yet to be deliberated, I think, in the Supreme Court, because the President said, well, I had to sign it because this one also comes with the finance budget, so if he doesn't sign it, then it means the government grinds into a halt for a whole year.
Exactly.
So these are all the 47 governors, all men.
Of course.
Of course, it's a man's
and unless you chose someone in between.
No, it's just one of those things I've also just noticed. And, of course, we all knew. But if you didn't know their names, it's a good opportunity for you to sit down and know the governors. And Lamu there is getting the least share, 1.7B.
Well, I think the way we created counties was a combination between one man, one vote, and a kilometer and resources. So it's a combination of the two. So we said there are areas like, say, if you go to Central Province, they have a lot of people. Okay, they have millions of people, say, in a square kilometer of whatnot. If you go to Northeastern, they have huge tracts of land and less people. So how do you balance the two? How do the two get enough resources and balance the two? So I think they came up in between that. And Mika Cheserem, when he was also trying to bring the budgets of who receives what and whatnot, said there are counties that you must give them a lot of money first at the beginning so that they bring up their standards of living and balance it off with counties which are doing moderately well. Balance that with them having so many people at the same time so that they can give those resources.
Alrighty.
So I think Lamu possibly receiving its fair share, considering its size, and the development they need to do, to catch up with everyone else.
Yeah. But I don't know. I think it's the principle of equity. But does Mombasa deserve the same share as Lamu? I mean, Mombasa is a more populous area.
Mombasa is getting 4.5 billion.
Yes.
Lamu is getting what? 1.7 billion.
Sorry. I meant to say Kwale.
Kwale, how much is Kwale getting?
Kwale is getting the same amount, 4.5
Is it?
billion, as well as Marsabit.
No.
You'd
Where is
think?
it?
Off front page.
Kwale has 4.5 billion.
Yes.
Yes.
Compared to the same of Mombasa, which is 4.5 billion. Equity, principle of equity, not equality. I
Not
guess.
equality.
Equity.
Equity.
Equity is the word. Yeah,
That's what it is.
I think those questions would would always arise. I mean,
Yeah.
the places that would definitely need to be given so much resources at the beginning of this devolution so that they can rise up.
Yeah.
And build institutions, build schools, infrastructure and whatnot. So that, because then VAS will never exist, in places, like Mandera, Turkana, Kwale and whatnot. But then again, also, there are places, so if we say we're going to do that, what happens to a place that is moderately, like Nakuru, which works very well? It has
Yeah.
people, it has services. It needs to, so we have to get a balance in between that, say, well, we're going to give you so much resources in the beginning. It's not enough, of course, but it's moderately something that you can start with, as well as we need to provide our usual services to the populations elsewhere, and hopefully, we strike oil someday, and we have enough resources to send to everyone.
For everybody.
Hopefully,
Yeah.
fingers
But
crossed.
I guess Turkana also getting that amount and really big share because there's a lot to go into actualizing the dreams or the potential that are there, to bring them to be a reality that the people, the residents, hopefully will enjoy because we have a lot of, foreigners coming in to help.
Yeah.
And the residents have always been very vocal about wanting to be beneficiaries of that. But away from devolution,
Yes.
we have ODM on page 4, and the team proposes overhaul of Orange Party Secretariat. So this report will be officially out on Thursday, and you have a recommendation that Magrel Langat, party executive director, perhaps that he should,
Failed in his duties.
yes, and he oversaw the bungled election, and apparently it's not clear the headway on the who had the Men in Black as well.
Were you,
thought that would be the big reveal.
were you expecting that?
But they kept saying the report will reveal
Who? Yeah.
because they said they
person
knew.
But they will reveal it. Well, my thinking is this whatever investigations or whatever appear to be, they were never anything. I think as we were able to follow up in the days that followed this Men in Black story, we were able to say that, and we were able to ascertain that these are people who are known to the party or some of the party confidants and whatnot. I think it was nothing. There was nothing further to reveal. That this was not a random team that showed up, from Kiambu or Kasarani or from Mwingi or whatever, and interfered with the ODM polls. They were party operatives.
So where is ODM now?
Exactly.
The last we had was there was some caretaker committee between Team Zani and Team Namwamba. Raila is out of the country. I've just seen him on Instagram giving a lecture, so where is ODM at as we speak? When will the elections ever happen? Like, where are they?
Interesting. Well, we don't know. Thing is, I think it was a smart move for them to get a caretaker committee, cool down the temperatures between Namwamba and the Zani. So now that story, as soon as that was done, you remember that we've never talked about those factions again. It was, it died. So it was good for the party.
Was it good for the party or was it intended to happen because there was a rising star?
Two things. Well,
Is she a rising star?
Not she, he.
who? Namwamba.
Yes.
Namwamba is a rising star.
And Namwamba has always been a rising star. I think this will have to go to now the politics of, well, is someone wanted him not to succeed
Yes.
or whatnot. But I think those are different issues, right? That they can be, another story. But I think for where ODM is, I think the original question is, I think if you remove Raila Odinga from ODM, you've removed the party. That's it.
It's a shell.
So it's a shell. So there's nothing. So they need to find ways to work out whatever it is that they're trying to do. Accommodate those egos and the rising stars and the Men in Black. Put them together and find a way to make that party works. Otherwise, if you remove him,
And right now he seems to be removed.
Yes, I mean,
As
he's
you
left
can
for 2
see,
months.
yeah.
You can
Yes,
see what
Yeah.
the rising star, as you say, and the other team have not done anything. They've not risen to the occasion.
Yeah, they have
I mean, my
not.
question would be, wasn't it a mistake in the first place to pit someone like Ababu Namwamba against Zani, who we've never heard of up until, 2013? That's when we heard of her as a nominated senator.
Yeah.
We've never heard of her before. So how do you put this guy who has the possibility of holding the party together and has the possibility of becoming a possible enigma like Raila to somebody who is, lack of a better word, invisible?
And new in the game, because
Yeah.
what they used against the card they kept playing all this time was that you cannot have a secretary general who's new in this. You need somebody with election experience, who's been there, who knows the dynamics, the challenges, not somebody new. She may be intelligent and all these other things working for her, but Ababu has, if you like, institutional memory.
Yeah.
He's been there.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
That's true.
And he's very vocal.
Yeah.
He is.
It is true. I think it was a big mistake first for them to go to those elections. I think it is a big mistake. What they should have done, what every party should do, is sit down and say, this is a members club, as they talk about, and say, well, Sophia is good in A, she handles A.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
Kathy is good, handles A. That's how party handle their issues, because when you,
But
the
democracy,
contestations.
where's the place of democracy?
But that's
if you say
democracy.
that?
That's democracy. I'll tell you what, in the UK, the Labour Party and all those parties, they never hold any nominations even for their seats. They sit down, there's a panel, they say they'll interview the candidates and say, this is the guy, and that's it. So the democracy doesn't mean that you have to go to universal suffrage, if you like.
representation.
It just means that you need a space that people can talk honestly and identify the skills that you need and whatnot, because it's a party issue. If you go to the elections, then it's a different thing. After you've decided who you want to represent you as a party, then us, people will say, you know what, we don't like your choice.
Yeah.
That's a bad guy, and give this to the other guy. I think it is a mistake. They shouldn't have. They should have gone to those elections, to Kasarani, but with a team, with a set mind that, we've agreed Ababu is our secretary general. We've agreed so-and-so is. That would have made much more sense. So that Kasarani is just a show of strength and the party to announce itself and present its team.
Okay. Page 6 was that burial ceremony witnessed yesterday. So the Archbishop Lele was buried in a cave,
As his wish.
as was his wish.
As was his wish. A simple man, as possibly all the archbishops, and all the men of cloth lived all his life, serving his cause and living, his life.
Yeah.
And said, well, when I'm done, please
Put me in a cave.
take me to a cave.
Kathy, what do you make of that story on page 6 at the bottom, where we have Nazlin's alleged husband ordered to appear in court? How does a husband begin becoming an allegation? Is it a husband or not?
Nazlin has court case after court case after court case, and this is just one of the long list of court cases
I
with
know.
her alleged husband,
That just sounds interesting.
who promised to
because
pay
it's Nazlin
200
who say
million.
that
He's
that
my
this guy
husband.
married me.
But
you know,
200 million.
In 2010, you mean 2010? It's like just 4 years ago. It's not like they married in 1980 or 1950. That's the difference, yeah. Just the other day.
So what does she want? She
200
wants 200
million,
million.
yes.
Yeah, 200 million was meant for her dowry. And a Benz, A Benz.
And a Benz. All right, careful what you negotiate in those times of love.
I
If
tell you. I
negotiate.
think my dowry has just gone up by $1 million or
But doesn't
100.
the president look cool on page 7 with those leaders there?
He does. I have to give that to the president. He
looks-
has this swag.
He has
I have to
swag
give that
over
to
there.
him. Yeah.
Why
he-
you look at me funny? You think you should be in a suit and a tie? Oh,
You know, it's funny
He's a
because
guitar.
it's very funny because I originally was the one who told Sophia, and she does.
No,
So she steals the words right from my mouth. Then she asked me, why you look at me like that?
no. I told James, what if he'd won one of this? What they call kanzus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they?
Like, okay.
Yeah, I think cancer.
Yeah, one of those.
Yeah, I think
that
it's
those are like
cancer.
gentlemen are wearing,
Yes.
with stunners.
It's quite nice.
He'd have looked, he'd have blended in.
No, but then again, he's the head of state, Kenya's president, not Qatari's, chief of staff or whatnot.
But why, when he was in Masai, was he wearing those? Okay,
Because
that's Kenya.
it's in Kenya, Remember, one of the biggest blunder that Obama did when he just got in, remember, I think he went into Saudi Arabia, and he bowed for the king, and it was huge commotion.
Yeah. So this
right?
could have been
But there was a sign of
strategic.
respect, it's just that, he's an older statesman and whatnot, and you just, but then that sovereignty issue, he's a president, he's our president, we want him to maintain his presidency, if you like, and whatnot.
I think that's the full representation of what a Kenyan is.
Absolutely, I think he
that's
looks
the average Kenyan man.
Yeah.
Yes, he looks okay. He looks
Yeah.
okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's cool.
I'm looking for investors there.
Yes.
Bring the money home. So Gor Mahia might be in trouble. Kerry wants 118 million shillings from them. Football club protests after taxman asks it to pay up or risk being slapped with fines.
Oh, they've been evading tax?
Oh my, why have they been evading tax? Are you a supporter of Gor Mahia?
No, FC Leopards. We pay our taxes, but I mean, I think this will be transacted. So I think it's something to do with they have sponsors. People who come in and say they want to sponsor the club. Would buy T-shirts or merchandise and whatnot. And so Kerry is looking at that, as saying, well, you guys got last year 100 million, so you need to give us, percentage of that.
Yeah.
I think it's those issues. I think it will be, transacted outside the public opinion court.
Yeah.
Okay.
In silence.
And yesterday I remember driving and hearing the breaking news.
Of?
The back page of the Standard.
It's a very sad story. So
Bye-bye, David Moyes. No, I feel for the guy. I mean, whoever came after Alex Ferguson was going to be a tall order for them.
Yes.
This guy, I don't know. I feel for him, but let him go.
Yeah.
We were suffering.
Things were thick. Personally, I'm a Liverpool fan. So,
You're a Liverpool. You never walk alone.
Yeah, I never walk. We are not walking alone. I mean,
they're
5
winning.
points clear, right?
They're winning the league.
Yeah, it's ours by force.
Well, I think
It's been a while there.
It has been, I think, 2 decades.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been a while.
they'll win this and they go for another 15 decades.
I know.
No. We will keep
gotta
the
be back
momentum.
next season.
This
The
one
momentum
has just,
will be
it
kept.
has just been given to you. Like you're sitting in a class,
we
and there's that
earned
one
it.
sitting in the back. You're
You
like,
say it's
this.
been given to them. Why are you not winning it?
Exactly.
because
Arsenal.
we gave it to them. We are the ones who
okay.
gave
Season
it.
people.
handed
That's what
it
you
over to them.
think.
Next season. But it's sad.
Anyway, for Moise, I don't know. This the principle of power and laws. Do not replace man with the big shoes. All right, that's the one thing. But then again, someone had to replace him, and for it was David
But
Moyes.
one of the things I was hearing James was saying, and you're a bigger football person with greater understanding than I do, of course, is that when he came in, the biggest blunder he made is the backroom staff, those people that had been there for a very long time. He was too quick to shift them around to bring a new entire team, that he should have perhaps let that transition,
Well, perhaps true,
Yeah.
but some of the stories that came out, one of the guy that people want is Molson, and Molson wanted to leave Manchester United. The coach wanted to leave, and he became the Fulham coach. He was fired a few months ago. So there was someone after Ferguson left, his backroom felt they need to express themselves a bit more. So what you're going to do if you want to, you come in an office and then you say, well, guys, I'm just new here. Then guys are like, you know what? Actually, I don't want to work under you and I'm going. So we're placing that under him again, but the fellows didn't want to
work under.
Yeah, they wanted to leave. So there's nothing he could have done with that.
So who's interim?
He's called Giggs, Ryan Giggs. He's been a Manchester United player for the last 50 years.
Many years.
Are you confident? Are you confident that he'll take you?
Well, he has what, 3 or 4 games remaining. There's nothing worse that United now can do. They can finish not less than 10. So if they lose all
There's
their
nowhere
games,
but you're bottom.
they can't go up, they can't go down. They're fine. So anyone else would work. But I think the substantive coach that they want is Louis van Gaal, who's the Netherlands coach, who would come, I think, after World Cup because he's the Netherlands coach. So he'll have to stay with Giggs and caretaker manager for 5 or so months before you get a substantive coach, unless some other name shows up randomly in the middle.
In between.
Yeah.
Speaking of World Cup, what's your team? Have you already pre-chosen a team?
Would you want to be in Brazil first?
I'd love to.
It's gonna be amazing.
Can we take the Morning Express
We
to
should
Brazil?
go there. Host a show for what? Is it how long? A month?
It's a
It's a
month.
month, yeah.
Yeah.
This show that's just descended, it went into something else.
No, so we're talking football, and World Cup is the biggest event. I mean,
Yeah.
And then we can be in Jersey.
You know, yeah. Because I'm supporting Nigeria, so.
You're supporting
You're
Nigeria?
Nigeria.
I'm
And James?
Nigeria, I hope.
Brilliant. I would follow Cameroon. I would follow my heart.
Okay.
And see, but
Why is your heart in Cameroon?
Yeah.
they play expressive football. You know, Nigerians are good. They will always be there. You know, they're like money. They're just always there. They just do nothing. You know,
Excuse
just there.
me.
But yes,
Titles, that's nothing. Let's just say I'll be watching events as they unfold and making my
You
decisions
pick at the last minute,
as we go along.
just don't forget that, you know, Brazil has like 5 time zones. So
Yes.
a game would be like 1 in the morning. The next one is like at 10 during the day. The other one is like at 6 at evening. It's supposed to be everywhere. That's the
Yeah.
thing. And they're playing them in different cities and whatnot. But it will be
Okay.
exciting for those who'd be there.
Yes,
Indeed, I might just go and be doing live links for you guys from there. But hey, as you catch the Standard newspaper today, we have a new pool out in the Standard.
Oh,
It's
yes.
called Wednesday Live. So when you grab yourself your copy, you'll see that. And the headline is Kitui's Little Angels with Big Hearts. And spellbinding story of St. Angela's Girls, where children raise fees for poor schoolmates. Really amazing story. But also a story that's in here is one that was covered a while back in the Standard, and the day Uhuru's advisor vanished.
Disappeared.
You know, it is one that has gone cold. Mother recalls son's last text message, the words "Goodbye, Mom." And that search of Albert Muroki has gone cold. So a presidential advisor just disappears.
And that, I think that's the worst kind of grief for a parent or for
Yeah.
a loved one, because you don't know where they are, you don't know whether they're alive or dead. It's just it's quite heart-wrenching for her and the other families in this country who have lost people that they love.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's an interesting read.
Well, yeah, quite an anxious story, and like you say, I mean, the grief you just wouldn't know.
Yeah.
You know,
Because there's no closure there.
There's no
with death, when you've buried somebody, it's different. Or when, whatever.
yes, because this you don't know.
Yeah,
you know,
you don't know.
what has happened. You know, you can't close a chapter on someone. You know, you've not seen. You know, you've not been told what has
Yeah.
happened. So,
Oh, yeah.
as a parent, you know, and as a relative and anyone, you maintain the best possible scenario. You know, you would want to
hope.
think, you know, they just misplaced
Yeah.
their phones or whatnot, or they were just in trouble somewhere, they cannot contact you. So you're going to spend the rest of the foreseeable future trying to locate them and find them. I think that's the story of this family.
Yeah.
You know.
All right, we have about 10 minutes to go. Daily Nation now. Grab yourself a copy of the Standard newspaper and read more about that. Their graft team protests over CBK boss case. So the EACC head has written to the CJ saying transfer of central bank boss Njuguna Ndongo's application from one judge to another was suspicious. CBK governor seeks to block arrest and prosecution. And in the middle of this is the 1.2 billion shillings. That's the amount the CBK will pay Horsebridge for the installation of an integrated security management system to the bank's headquarters and its branches. EACC says the amount was inflated by 400 mm.
Yes, how do you inflate amount by 400 million? You know, that's the thing. I mean, and yes, Njuguna Ndongo has been, you know, in the middle of this for a while. It doesn't make him look good, doesn't make central bank look good, and this is where I think it comes down to the head of state or the president. You know, this is when you demonstrate leadership. You know, if you like, and you know, say, well, you have something to, I'd say, you know, step aside.
Yeah.
You know, and
Stepping
let this
aside.
decision go, because he hasn't been able to perform. Quite honestly, I have not seen him in any press conference, anything, you know, in the last few months since this story broke. So whether it's going to be cleared or not.
Yeah. And what is interesting, I mean, disclaimer of any sort, if I must, the case moved from Justice Mubin Ngugi to Justice David Majanja.
Yes.
Without any explanation. And the explanation that the William Mutunga is giving, the Chief Justice, is that there was a clerical error in the transfer. But if you look at those names, I don't know. It's
They're not
question
anywhere
marks.
near.
Last time I remember that as a reason or excuse or whatever.
I know, right? Clerical error.
We were losing a lot of billions, just the same way.
It's, you know, 400 million is too much for a clerical error, to be
Yeah.
honest.
And you have Why Just Me? Oswagos asks on Paul's tape. But an interesting one you're looking at there.
Yeah, Minister heckled at Othaya. Yes, so the Health Cabinet
9.
Secretary James Macharia with Othaya, he was there, you know, in level 5 in Nyeri, you know, and while at it, he saw it fit, you know, to join the campaign trail and say, well, Mary Wambui has been a supporter of yours because he's come to my ministry several times, asking for whatnot. And there was a group, part, that of the opponents did not appreciate that. They didn't like it, and he was heckled seriously, had to leave.
But I think there should be a clear distinction or a clear separation between cabinet secretaries who are not political entities or not political personalities and politicians. There should be a clear distance.
It was interesting when Najib Balala CS Manning came for Friday briefing, and when that question was put to him, he said he thinks the CS's this separation of no politics and them doesn't quite work. At the end of the day, you need somebody who has ins in politics. It apparently would make their work easier. And this, some of the analysis some time ago was even in as far as them giving statements in Parliament and being, questioned and all those kind of things. So,
but then where does the check and balances? Where are the checks and balances? Because yes, you should probably have political knowledge, but not necessarily go to the extent of supporting someone. I don't know. It doesn't that touch on your credibility? It's like saying, Sophia, you stand and say, well, I like Mary Wambui. The peoples of Othaya are for Mary Wambui. It's like making a stance, which I don't think it's right.
What do you think?
That was the debate, wasn't it, when Balala and Ngilu were brought into office?
I mean, and I think from the face value, the president and the deputy president said, well, it's only the president and deputy president who are the politicians in that cabinet. Otherwise, everyone else is a technocrat. I doubt, Charity Ngilu's technocracy, credentials.
How that has been going.
Yes,
Not
but
very well.
I don't know. I think what we have is a mix of many things, and possibly, someone I saw someone somewhere in Parliament who wants to revise, the standing orders to allow or to have cabinet secretaries come to Parliament and be questioned by Parliament. Because as it works in the states, they have secretaries as well, but they actually go to the Senate, they go there and give, reports, they can be summoned and whatnot. Ours cannot be summoned, even when the president is giving, his state of address, they, go and sit in the gallery like everyone else. Well, so possibly there's merit in that, having them just on the fact that they can go to Parliament, be questioned in the committees, different committees. But yes, I think what Kenyans wanted cabinet secretaries who were not politicians, devoid of politics, so that we get technocrats. I think that's what Kenyans
But is it working for Kenyans? How different is having these technocrats vis-a-vis what we had before? How,
That is a very good question.
Yeah, so maybe we give them 5 years and see the whole term.
See how it works.
Do the scorecard.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Yeah. But what's going to be interesting is 1st of May.
Yes.
Back page of the Daily Nation.
Oh, yes.
To see how this story plays out. Because stop being petty, that's what Atwoli is telling Kambi. You have Pusetu, the new kid on the block, and flexing its muscle.
Well, yes. I mean, it's until Pusetu showed up, organization of Mayday had been not even a thought.
Yeah.
Not even a thought. I mean, we didn't even knew that it needed to be organized. Let's just start there. Now, all of a sudden, the organization of May 1st is a contested issue. The Pusetu says, well, this was going to happen. We don't need to be invited to organize Labor Day. We are part and parcel of it. And Koto says, hang on, this has been our preserve. We've been doing this since, the first day Jesus showed up, on May Day celebrations. And Kambi says, well, people need to work together. But here's the thing. It will be, I hope it doesn't go that way. That, Pusetu says, well, we've booked our stadium, and Koto says we have Uhuru
They've
Park.
booked Uhuru Park.
That's what I'm saying, yes.
Kambi does not know where the event is.
That's what I'm saying. I hope it doesn't go
Maybe
like
they
that.
should just say, everyone go to which one you want to, and then we'll know which one's the popular union, and then we can work with that one for the
But
rest
the
of
popular union would
the Labor Days.
Would probably be Pusetu.
Would it depend, because I mean the cabinet secretary, of course, likes Pusetu over Kotu.
Over
You have the likes of Nat behind.
Yes.
Pusetu.
So it will. But then also it's about organization. It's about who will bring the numbers. You know. So what if you go to Uhuru Park and there's no one, or we go to your stadium and there's no one, and the president is in the other function and there's no one. So it's.
I'm sure the president will be well advised.
But I think it's a good thing. It's keeping Kotu on its toes.
I
It
know.
means that Kotu cannot mess
He's
up
having
now.
sleepless nights,
Yeah.
Mr. Atwoli.
They need
For
to
the first
work.
time, I think, in
Many
as
years.
many years. I mean,
Yeah.
before that, it's been, a monopoly of some sort.
Exactly.
His word has been low. So this is, tough times.
It's
Interesting,
tough
if you
times.
like. But we'll see what Setu can pull, if they can live up to their threat, and organize the very own
Yes.
Labor Day
Labor
celebrations.
Day. We'll watch that and
But it's
cover
not-
it for you.
It's a little bit difficult for us, Where do you set up?
I know.
We'll just have one
Interesting.
OB at Uhuru Park and
And the
another
other,
OB in
yeah,
Nyayo.
and then the links before the event would be like, so we're standing by, waiting to see which
Who
one
comes
won.
where?
And when the president will show. That would be interesting to see.
It will not be interesting. That's a circus.
No, but for coverage, quite
It is a circus, but they need to find a solution. If not, that's the better way to go.
to
you
go
know?
about it. Oh, busy
Let the people choose.
Okay, the Star, of course, has that heckling of the health CS in Othaya as the headline, but also a story that's there, an interesting National
South
Land
Sudan.
Commission in dubious transactions.
How do you miss these pictures, Sophia?
Oh,
Yeah, because that was like my eyes were
Yeah.
there. It
oh my
was
God.
there.
And then there's that
That's where it
headline
was.
picture.
Yes. Well,
And this is a major concern for us because we are the peace brokers. I mean, this is it for us.
yes, South Sudan has been, complete horrible. I mean, these pictures from yesterday and the day before that, the violence has escalated. I think they've been bombing, bridges and villages and burning villages and whatnot. And this just shows you that, these people were rounded up, and you can see the tiles and whatnot
Yeah.
rounded up, and they were burnt,
Yeah.
That
just
is
because
so hard.
the only crime that it is they belong to a cousin community.
Yeah.
That's it. They did not steal anything. They did not
They just
do
belong to the
anything. They
wrong
just belong to
community.
different tribes. So this is a shame.
There are those who say that the reason why we're back to seeing such pictures is because the negotiation that was held a few months back, late last year, was not handled the way it should have been handled. I mean, from having negotiations at a bar, it was at a bar or something in
Yeah.
Ethiopia,
In Ethiopia.
and there's also no clear reason why these people have gone back to war. And also, it's a new state. There's so many, compelling reasons because it's a new state.
Yes.
They've
It's not
had
holding
war
together.
for decades. They don't know what peace is,
Yeah.
and it's a delicate balance.
Well,
Delicate balance.
I think this goes just to show what the African Union really its failure and faults, right?
This is what it needs to be concentrating on.
Yes, it's such a huge and a serious issue that you don't understand how the
Yeah.
African Union could spend weeks, almost every week, meeting in Ethiopia during the last year, discussing the Kenyan issue and
Yeah.
the Kenyan scenario, when here they can spend months, not even thinking of meeting.
Yeah.
This is serious. They should
It is.
physically, all of them,
Yeah.
all the presidents should be in South Sudan trying to find
Talking
a
about
lasting
this.
solution because, I mean, look at this.
Yeah, that is
Especially-
heartbreaking. Very unfortunate, yes.
Yeah, especially for us because this means that refugees come to us, and we already have an issue with refugees
Yeah.
as it is. So it's something that needs to be discussed. This and as well as CAR
Yeah.
is Africa's Union's topic.
Yes, then there's also Sierra.
Yeah.
Quite a number of challenges. Finally, the people.
Unions showdown looms over Labor Day control. Well, we've discussed it.
We
Yes.
found a solution.
Two obese.
And girl battered by dad used to be locked up overnight. I think for the second day today, I was mentioning to Sophia, the people has decided to go heavy on human interests,
Yeah.
and put the faces and the issues of Kenyan right on the front page.
Yeah.
Commendable, I think we should say.
True, because we see quite a lot of politics usually.
Yes.
And sad story that you would read there in the People today. That 6-year-old girl with a cracked skull inflicted by her father had for several months been locked up alone every night in a flat as her father did night duty as a bouncer at a city center club. And it's when you read the details of this story that you begin to empathize and just
Yeah.
imagine how horrific this was for the girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, just yesterday, coming from the story of the AP officer, who battered the wife, and sexually assaulted her. It's serious. I mean, and I think these are the issues that should be put right in front of the society and
So
the
that they
faces,
have a look.
so that we have a look and we have an introspection, because sometimes we have problems in this country, like a drinking problem or relationship problems, and we just, glide over them because they're not at the front and center of our discussions.
But what baffles me, maybe James, you can answer. Why is it the men? Why are men so frustrated? I think that's why are men so frustrated?
Did I become the spokesman for men?
Well, you're the only one who can explain that. I mean, we have the AP in Meru.
What's his name?
Yes. Yeah, they did a job.
No, but seriously, I mean, the AP in Meru and this guy.
But it's
bouncer.
when you look at Kenya's modern day Kenya and the challenges of ordinary mwananchi, food on the table, high cost of living, very little things then become triggers, and triggers to the extreme. So, which it's not an excuse, but for some, that's what it's about.
Yeah, true. I mean, I think our society needs to have a serious discussion, and a cause, on how we deal with our issues, and especially issues to do with relationships and families, and how we handle that, how we handle, joblessness, how we handle our pressures. We have nothing that we do to that. I mean, look at your relatives who are not, say, maybe working, and the life and the condition, the quality of life that they're going through. That's something that, can trigger anything, All of a sudden, someone can spark and anything. So I think it's a societal problem. It's not these individuals that we're seeing. It is a whole societal problem that we've never managed to fix. Perhaps that's something that, Sophia and Chris had at one point would sit down.
And maybe it's time, to embrace counseling as an African society.
People look at it as a sign of weakness that you should sit down and tell. Have you ever been to counseling? James, perhaps we should encourage.
I don't understand how this conversation comes back to me.
Well,
But before we go, very interesting story on page 3, and this is to encourage all the people who may have been rejected and fired.
Including Moise.
Including Moyes. They have stories of the likes of Oprah Winfrey and others who were rejected and fired, but rich and famous later. So right now, things may not be working out where you are.
Yes, you can.
Yes,
you can. Your dreams are valid.
Dreams are valid.
It's such an encouraging piece. I hope, and it's very good, but let's Kenyanize it a bit. Let's find Kenyans who have the same, because the profiles are fitting there, and possibly there'll be closer hope. This is very good. I mean, Steve Jobs, Oprah Winfrey, Madonna, whoever and whatnot. Let's find the Kenyan stories. The Kenyan Oprah Winfrey, the Kenyan Steve Jobs, and the Kenyan Madonna. It will bring much more at home. But this is a good step.
It is. Who can we think about that was rejected?
I was actually thinking about the president, because at one point he actually gave up on politics.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the first name that popped into my head.
When Madimoni showed up.
Yeah. He's a good example.
Oh well. Your press review this morning. Thanks, Kat, for being part of it. Grab yourself a copy of the Standard newspaper. We told you we have a new pull-out today. It's amazing. Great stories inside. Wednesday Life. All about your world. Amazing stories and features covered for you in today's Standard.